congregation. I told you he was the antichrist, did I not? I told you he would try and take the crown of Jesus, did I not? I told you a good portion of the church, in quotes, would try and give him the crown of Jesus, did I not? He trying to tell us that he's the king now. I don't think so. Anyway, let's begin. Do you remember in the first term when Donnie was making a joke in front of the cameras out in front of the White House before he demolished it? And he turned in front of everyone, and I don't know why he did this. There was some context to it. But he was joking, and he turned and he kind of looked up in the sky and said, I am the chosen one. Remember that? That was a joke, right? Not coming from him, it wasn't. He don't joke, first of all. I don't know if you learned that about him yet. I've said that about, I don't know, 87 times over the years. He frames things as a joke, especially when you got the fucking devil literally on your shoulder. The same way there's FFF instead of 666 on the motherfucker. And you know what motherfucker I'm talking about. When he said he wanted to be Pope, he was dead sincerely fucking serious because he's sick in the fucking head. And he the Antichrist. Then when everyone gave him shit about it, the church saying, yo, that's an insult, like, you know, the whole thing, the whole world, like, yo, fuck you talking about? Then it became, class, a joke. I was just joking. You can't take a joke. Remember Donnie said that? In a very, like, semi-angry tone. When there's a goat at Mar-a-Lago made out of I don't know what, and it's covered in $100 bills with Donnie's face. You know, the thing he just posted recently, the $100 bill with his face. But this one on the goat at Mar-a-Lago, it's a big joke. I know that's what everyone will say. His face, and it says in Trump we trust instead of God. And they're just joking, right? Donnie doesn't joke, class and non-class. He and his daddy know they can't say certain things outright. And it takes a lot of control for him not to just say it. But he does just say it. He's done it many times. But it's always, I know. It's a joke. Sometimes he says things and it may appear to us that it's just a dementia-ridden old man and there's not an agenda behind it, and a very sinister one, and a very spiritual one. I know you don't understand it. You don't fucking have to. He does. So when he turns to the sky and says, I'm the chosen one, that's not a joke. There's something going on there that you don't realize. When you see a goat at Mar-a-Lago with Donnie $100 bills that say "In Trump we trust," that's framed as a joke, but it ain't a joke, son. And they know it, and I know it. I know you folks out there, you don't know what he's doing. Him and the devil, by the way. I know exactly what the fuck they doing. And I know none of that shit was jokes. I know Donnie don't joke. He's all about the grift and what he's trying to achieve. And what he's trying to achieve is be Adolf Hitler, but more successful this time. And on top of it, he's the actual antichrist who literally worships Satan in action. He performs certain actions in worship of Satan, like that goat thing. Like turning and looking up in the sky and saying, "I am the chosen one." That ain't a joke. That ain't a mistake. That's an agenda, son, that you have no concept of. I know exactly what the fuck he's doing when he does shit like that. I know what they're doing when they show us the goat at Mar-a-Lago with Miss Haber or whoever standing the fuck next to it. I know exactly. When he says golden age, I know exactly what that means. And today he did something again, but then he framed it as a joke. He talked about Jesus being the king, and he said, "They call me king now." And he said, "Well, they say I'm a king, but I can't even get a ballroom built." And then a couple alleged, I don't know what, Christian leaders compared him to Christ. I couldn't believe the things that were said today. I guess what I was trying to say with all that, and I wish I would have said it better, these jokes all have a destination of coming true over time. The funny part disappears and they become reality. I mean. So when he jokes about being a king directly after saying Jesus was king, there's a reason for that. Deeper than just a man making a joke about he's really not a king because they stop him from doing all these things. They being the liberals, the judges, normal humanity that aren't in the cult, aren't sick in the fucking head, that identify with a pedophile and the Antichrist. Whatever path you enter that place from doesn't matter to me. However you justify walking that path with him, with your name on it, again, irrelevant to me. You're still on the path. You're still going to pay the price if you walk far enough. And that's guaranteed. So these jokes about him being the chosen one, about his face being on our gold, our currency, jokes about "In Trump we trust," jokes about Jesus not being the king, he's the king. Those will stop being jokes, and you all know it. And that was his intent the entire fucking time. So no, they ain't jokes. They're statements that need to be said out loud for a purpose. Because he thinks he's fulfilling a purpose, and he worships something. And it's obvious. So the jokes about him being king, being greater than Christ, stuff like being the chosen one, in Trump we trust instead of in God we trust, that's all going to come real, and that's what he's been desiring. And that's what the story talks about. I've also been wondering, is BB the false prophet? He can make fire rain from the sky. Whoever ends up saying we need to make an image to Donnie, that'll be the ultimate proof, but that hasn't happened yet. At least I don't think it did. But Leon really has the greater pulpit for the entire world to hear him preach the MAGA, the Nazi, the whatever you want to call it, technocracy gospel, Satan's gospel for Donnie, and he was co-chancellor. That, again, that really going around with the authority, the same authority. You could say BB's doing that as well. I don't know. I was really wondering about that today. We'll find out when one of them says we need to make an image to Donnie at some point. I assume that'll happen in the next couple of years. Let me go to this and I'll get to where I just was. Iran has struck Amazon servers hosting Amazon Web Services in Bahrain. That was today. I was just talking about these people shouldn't have built third world, and now all their buildings are getting hit. I said they shouldn't have built third world because of instability. Could happen at any second. Now we're seeing instability, and it was caused by the guy that they thought, you know, was their golden ticket forever. He's no one's golden ticket. Everything he touches dies. That's why your data centers are getting hit with missiles now. Bahrain confirms Iran hit Amazon AWS building. It's been confirmed that the headquarters of Bahrain's largest telecommunications company, the Telco, which also houses Amazon servers, has been targeted and rendered inoperable. Bahrain issues immediate orders to all companies operating in the financial harbor to evacuate now. That's from Iran as well. They're putting that out. Donnie posted this morning. I mean, like clockwork. We're seeing this once or twice a week for the past, 2-3 weeks, where there are literally no negotiations whatsoever. And Monday morning or Friday night or on the weekend, we get the peace deals coming soon. We're getting out of there. The market jumps up 800, 1,000 points. Donnie and Barron and a bunch of other people make a shit ton fucking money. They know when to get right in and right out the market, based on their daddy giving the info. 8:44 a.m. he posted this, right at market opening. A bit obvious. And people have gone to prison for a long time for way less than this rate. Just this one instance, and he's done this, I don't know, the first term and this term, 100 fucking times? Easy. Now it's like clockwork twice a week at least, if not 3 or 4 times a week. And somebody flipping a switch, making them numbers on the Dow go up. It doesn't just happen by magic. And they keep reacting to the same lie, and everyone knows it's a lie, so that tells me the switch gonna get flipped no matter whether they know it's a lie or not. So they can get rich too. So again, 8:44 a.m., just literally straight up to manipulate the stock market right at opening. God, this theater is getting old, and thinking about him getting, another $500 million richer, him and 9, 10 of his buddies and his son, just disgusts me. Iran's new regime president, much less radicalized and far more intelligent than his predecessors, has just asked the U.S. for a ceasefire. We will consider when Hormuz Strait is open, free, and clear. Until then, we are blasting Iran into oblivion, as they say, back to the Stone Ages. That's a complete fabrication, and everyone knows it. And Iran, once again, I don't know how much later, said, yeah, that's not happening at all whatsoever. Straight up stock manipulation. Oh. Yesterday, Donnie said this. I got 93% bad publicity, and this is what he looked like quickly. I got 93% bad publicity. Some people say 97%. Maybe Caroline maybe Caroline is doing a poor job. Should we keep her? And then he allegedly went on to make a joke. And this was all part of the joke. Ask Miss Gnome if it's a joke. Ask Mr. Lewandowski if it's a joke. When he starts making jokes like this. What I say about jokes earlier, class, when the Antichrist, when Donnie Shitbags makes them, over time, they stop being a joke. They're not a joke anymore. They become real. Remember when the first jokes and rumors were coming out about Miss Gnome? He's thinking about maybe getting rid of her. Preposterous. It's Miss Gnome, the puppy killer. Surely he'd never get rid of her. I knew the second the rumors started, because those rumors don't just start. Donnie, again, what you motherfuckers don't understand, I'm talking about you and the Reich, even you and the Reich, you here, you out there. What you don't understand is Donnie leaks that on purpose. When you start seeing headlines by these smaller outlets, and then they make their way to the New York Times after a few days, Donald Trump is considering replacing Kristi Noem. And she's laughing at everyone. It's preposterous. Ha 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 ha. I'm here forever. I know the dirt. Stevie and Donnie tell me everything I do. I just do what they say. Yeah, that don't work with the Antichrist, honey. That's why you ass out. And you ass further out. And we'll get to that in a minute. So, when Donnie cracks jokes, maybe Caroline isn't, maybe she's doing a poor job. Should we keep her? Again, the jokes Donnie makes, especially about getting rid of people, they always eventually become not a joke and come true. Every motherfucking time. What do I always say about Donnie? What did I say about him in the first term? He throws everyone under the bus. I mean fucking everyone. So no, Miss Levitt isn't exempt. And in fact, as far as press secretaries, I told you what he does with them. He wrings out every last atom of credibility. To the point not a human on the planet believes a word they say, and that's when he shit cans them. Get a new face in there. Get the lies you crank back up. Because everyone gives the new person the benefit of the doubt, right? Like Donnie would pick an honest press secretary and not a straight propagandist willing to sell every shred of their soul. So, son, if Miss Gnome can go, if Mr. Bovino, a midget who thought he'd be there forever, where's he at now? Oh, he retired. Never mind. He gone. First he got shit canned, then he retired. And that's what happened. They don't just like kind of go away. They go away and then they go away further. Like it's devastating. Like Spicy Spicer, he ended up on fucking Dancing with the Stars and shit. So, any day of the week, anyone can get thrown on the butt. Again, if you're a threat to Donnie's grift, if you're no longer useful because, like the Gestapo, they're just so hated, they're almost absolutely useless at this point. And I assume, again, that's what happened with the brown shirts. Again, Miss Gnome gone, Mr. Bovino, everyone was hearing the rumors and ha 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 ha. That's not true. That's preposterous. It's a joke. He's joking. 3 or 4 gone already. Isn't that McLaughlin lady gone too? This the antichrist, son. Loyalty is always a one-way street, and I've said that a million times over this 10 years. And it don't matter who you are. Stephen Mill. Again, co-chancellor. Leon got the foot up. What about that, son? I forgot about that. And what does that tell? If co-chancellor who gave, $300 million to this cunt can get the foot up a black eye, foot up the ass. Remember what Donnie said about him right on after this little feud started happening when Leon tried to throw Donnie under the bus with the Epstein stuff. Maybe I take, Leon's citizenship and welfare away. He goes to back to South Africa with nothing. He said that out loud. So if co-chancellor can go, anyone can go. If DHS Secretary Miss Gnome, the puppy killer, who thought she was permanent, can go, anyone can go. If Bovino can go, anyone can go. Because, man, if there were 2 people that were down with the Reich, it was Bovino and Gnome. They were all the way down, baby. And they gone. Miss Levitt all the way down, too. Probably more down than we want to know. So when Donnie starts making jokes like this, he always needs someone to blame as well. What did he do with the last press secretaries? There were, 4 of them or 5 or something? Huckabee, fucking Spicy. He wrung out every last bit. See you later. Get a new face. Everyone gives the benefit of the doubt for a few months. Why, I don't know. We go through that charade. So when Donnie starts cracking jokes about maybe Caroline ain't so good no more. My polls are going down. People don't seem to like me very much. Maybe she ain't no good no more. I knew there was another reason. And someone said it out. Someone posted it. I was like, wow, that's exactly what I was thinking. So Donnie said that yesterday. And this is what this woman is saying about that. Donnie's saying I get 93% bad publicity. Maybe Caroline is doing a poor job. This woman says about that, now that she's fat because she's pregnant, he wants to dump her. Yep. You don't know how Donnie works. One, he's just about wrung out all her credibility. And now what he really likes to have her around for, because she is sexy to him. And God knows what going on behind closed doors. We've heard the rumors. And I've seen her body language around him. It's kind of obvious. But now, she getting chunky. She pregnant. That's normal. But Donnie don't like that. You know, Donnie cheats with porn stars like, 5 minutes after the kid pops out. So, he's got a short attention span. Or he might, rape a woman in a Nordstrom's changing room or something. Very short attention span. Very bad impulse control. And, he likes women a certain way. And Miss Levitt ain't that way no more. You know what I'm saying? This woman's spot fucking on. She nailed it. That's Donnie shitbags. You don't know Donnie like I know Donnie. Speaking of Miss Gnome going further under the bus, they had some compromat on this bitch. And they don't like how she went out. And they don't like the threat she was making as she was getting the foot up the ass. So they let some compromat out, and it's pretty fucking embarrassing. Now we know why he didn't mind her having an affair. Miss Gnome's husband, who was sitting right behind her when the congressional panel brought up her affair with Corey Lewandowski that everyone knows is going on. Everyone's known for years, and her husband's known, and everyone's known. What we didn't know is her husband was a cross-dresser who likes to wear fake large breasts. Whatever, man. I don't care. It don't affect my life. But again, when we look under the rock or behind closed doors, we find this in Christian conservative family values land. That's the way these people present themselves. As her husband's a cross-dresser, they're allegedly a straight married couple, Christian conservative family values people, even though she deploys mass murderers against the population and shoots puppies and all kinds of great shit. Balls are side piece on jets they specifically rent just for that purpose. On your dime, of course, you pay for everything, son. This is the reality of their life. Utter hypocrisy and bullshit. It's all a facade. None of it's real. Secret double life of Christy Gnome's cross-dressing husband, Byron. Or is it Brian? Brian, with a Y. The pouting, busty bimbo photos and trove of explicit messages. I didn't go too deep into this. I just grabbed the one photo that everyone's... man... And she's like, I had no idea. I'm shocked. Yeah, sure, honey. So this was all over the news and the internet yesterday. And just like Lindsey Graham, they persecute people that are into this, transgender, gays, literally. And then literally every time we get to see behind closed doors with these motherfuckers, a lot of them are gay, a lot of them are cross-dressing. Every time CPAC's in town, that Grindr app goes down. Or the activity, if it doesn't go down, the activity spikes like a motherfucker. Again, a Christian conservative family values movement who persecutes gays, literally says they're all going to hell and they're horrible and they literally want to lock them up. They just shot a lesbian in the fucking face. We all saw it. That was intentional. In other words, the persecution of those people is the platform. It's a huge part of the platform. Yet Lindsey Graham, yet Mike Johnson, yet Peter Thiel, yet Leon Scum. Then the pedophilia on top of it, my God. So many of them, too. I mean, Ben Shapiro, come on, son. Benny Johnson, come on, son. It's kind of obvious. Fucking Nick Fuentes. Another one. It just seems, I don't know how to put it. I guess the question I have, because I'm thinking about this, and it's quite shocking. They all seem to gravitate towards Nazism and white supremacy. Even Ben Shapiro, in a lot of ways, who's Jewish. He helps the Nazis get ahead in what he says and does. I don't know, it's kind of baffling to me, but that piece of scripture again, my translations and some translations, I think the King James too, if I'm not mistaken, my Catholic translation that I had from my grandmother, that's the only reason I had it. When she died, I grabbed it. It was in a box of her stuff. A lot of it was being thrown out. Her house was being cleared out to sell. And it was a nice hardcover, large Bible with red dye on the outside of the pages, so it looked, when you close it, just looked red inside. He will have no regard for the God of women. He'll have no regard for the desire of women. That's in other translations. That's why it's good to kind of read a bunch of translations and compare. And a lot of people that gave lessons on this stuff looked at that as, okay, the Antichrist has to be gay. I personally think Donnie's been with both. But could it just be also about Dugan, all of them? There's also this masculine push with Thale, with Leon. Yet I believe they're all gay. We know Thale is. Leon seems like he is. He doesn't talk about having sex with women. He talks about having babies with women. That's not how men think. I'm sorry, ladies. Unless you're really, really in love and, you know. But most men, men aren't really thinking that way. It's much more rare. And I think you know that. It's quite obvious. Maybe that, again, this movement has this masculine push. This is always mentioned by Dugan, the people that are the philosophers of the movement. What the movement's always been about. And I always got the sense that a lot of the top Nazis from the old Reich, Adolf Hitler's Reich, were gay as well. And again, I'm not saying all gay people are down with this stuff. I'm just surprised how many gay people have ended up in a conservative family values movement, which is really a white supremacist, white nationalist movement. And they're not all white. These gay men I'm talking about, they're there's some various ethnicities, but they're still down with the agenda. So that scripture, maybe because Brother James said no, it doesn't mean the Antichrist has to be gay, and that's a good point, and that was interesting information to me when I learned it, because I didn't know how to take that piece of scripture, and I always wondered, does that mean the Antichrist has to be gay? I think Donnie in some ways is. And I could cite examples, but I won't right now. But maybe that piece of scripture, the masculine push about this movement, in my opinion, it doesn't have anything to do with Christianity. I know that. I think it has to do with that they're all gay. And they don't really have a use for women except for breeding. And again, I'm not lumping all gay people together. I'm lumping this group of gay men that are into this right-wing conservative, which is really a white nationalist, now Nazi movement. Freemasonry has aligned with this. And I thought about it. Freemasonry started in Scotland, I believe. So it's, even though it's based on ancient Egypt and it may have been passed down from some other culture, it ended up, I believe, starting in Scotland and Britain and like that area. So it would make sense to align with white supremacy. It was white Europeans that began Freemasonry. So it would make sense that George Bush Sr. was given, the New World Order speech, which is it's got to be a Freemasonic idea because it's on the money with the pyramid and all their symbols and the eye. That's where the pyramid and eye come from, that group. That's where DC's design comes from. That's where the obelisk being put down instead of a gravestone comes from. That's a Freemasonic idea. If you go in a cemetery, like I showed you, you'll find all these obelisks. So the obelisk for George Washington, literally his symbol, the Jesus of Freemasonry. The New World Order Freemasonic idea, where Freemasonry started in Scotland, in Europe, by whites. It makes sense that they would align with white supremacy. That goes back to before Hitler, by the way. Hitler stole a lot of the ideas from Rome. So when George Bush Sr. gave his New World Order speech, that pretty much told us what group he's a part of and what he was trying to usher in. And maybe he was trying to be Donnie. Hoping it was him, I don't know. But he gave that speech for a reason, and it told me two things. Now that I understand that Nazism is utterly aligned with Freemasonry, white supremacy. At least that's what I'm seeing now and what I saw on the money. Then that tells me George Bush Sr. was a Nazi and a Freemason. If he's promoting the Freemasonic idea, the Freemasonic utopia, I guess you could say. That's been around a long time. The symbols, George Washington, I'm sure Freemasonry existed before, Washington came to America. So Bushy Sr. was part of that. Obviously, he gave the speech. And that phrase, New World Order in English, goes hand in hand with Freemasonry. It's right on the money with the symbols. That's not a mistake. That's where they wanted it to go, and that's what they're trying to accomplish right now. I don't know if Donnie's a Freemason, though. That's what I really wonder about him. I mean, he could be. I really wonder. Maybe he's... I know he's their conduit. They could at least see him as that, whether he's one of them or not. He could be an outsider that came out of nowhere. I know the political class, they really hated his rise. Mitch McConnell and the elite old school Republicans. They didn't like the way he broke into everything and kind of took over. They were trying to stop it in the beginning very strongly. So maybe he is some fucking outsider that came from nowhere, but they realize he's our guy. Like, he has the potential to do this stuff. With the cult following, with the help from Russia, all kind of different things. And they worship what he worships. Maybe they understand something. Maybe they know some information that we don't. I don't. An identifying piece of information. Because again, the richest people in the world all came when Donnie first won. I'm talking right off the bat, son. They all came and laid $1 million at his feet in tribute. Like, they all understood something. Understood like who he was or what he was. And they understood they had to pay tribute because of what he is. I really wonder about that. I don't know how I got on all this when I began with Miss Gnome's husband cross-dressing. So Miss Gnome is further under the bus now. I guess Donnie and Stephen Miller, they had some compromise. She was running her mouth a little too much. That's what happens. Christy Gnome Rep says family was blindsided by revelations of Byron's Brian. I keep saying Byron because it has a Y. Brian's cross-dressing and asked for prayers at this time. Buried in the article, Brian Gnome addresses and confirms his wife's affair with Corey Lewandowski. So, look, there's no way she didn't know. We all know why she was having her affair now and why he didn't mind and just stayed married because he wasn't into her anyway. And what did I tell you way back? I said, they try and tell us that the freaks is on the left. Lindsey Graham, Mikey Johnson, Miss Gnome, Donnie, all of them. The freaks is on the left, right? Oh no, congregation. The freaks, the real freaks, is on the right, not the left. Case in point, Brian Gnome. I can't believe this is how America goes down. A puppy killer who deployed murderers and kidnappers and loved it and spent your money like fucking water while she fucked her side piece. While her husband is wearing large fake breasts and going in online chat rooms and doing God knows what. This is how our shit goes down. Wow. Horrifying. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard destroyed a total of 3 Amazon data centers in Dubai and Bahrain. Why Amazon? It is primarily the world's more advanced military powers that have cornered the cloud market. That is precisely why the shrewd Iranians have set their sights on Amazon's data centers. I'm not going to read anymore. I said before all this happened, this is why you don't build third world. I said this a while back. And it's so funny this is happening now. That Iran can specifically target things, and they are doing it every single day, hitting about 5 major targets. Precision. Not just, a volley of missiles hitting anything here. They are precision targeting oil fields, gas fields, harbors, ports, data centers, radar. Pete's got to get shit from South Korea. Even some of that shit got hit already. Over 300 troops wounded, almost 400 that they told us about. Every day, Iran's shooting more and more off. 3 data centers. I told you build third world. This is the risk you take, son. That's why you don't build third world. Should have built in America. I also said all the big players, the oligarchs, everyone will be touched by all this. And my God, have they been touched? The major tech companies, and Iran is really impressing me. They know what to hit, son. They know what matters. Radar, refuelers, AWACS planes that are outdated and we only have 16 of them. Data centers, oil boats, the Strait. This is a motherfucking nightmare. Donnie and Bibi stirred up a fucking hornet's nest here. And they getting stronger as time goes by, not weaker. They do know what to hit, and it couldn't happen to nicer people. These data centers are a goddamn abomination as well, and they're only meant to store every single thing about us to use against us. That's all they're for. I'm impressed. And they naming companies that are like, yeah, we're going to hit Google, Microsoft, Amazon. They just name the shit and then they hit it. This is why you don't build third world, son, but you knew better. Right, son? Oh, how could I forget? I'm going to take a break after I read this headline. This is the New York Times. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I heard this rumor. I heard Donnie threatening to be there. With Trump in attendance, Supreme Court begins hearing arguments on birthright citizenship. Look, he lost his tariff grift and he is livid, and he might lock these fuckers up at some point. He losing his patience. I'm amazed they made the ruling. He's at the point where he going down there himself, a thing that no president has ever done, to try and intimidate the court by sitting there. You're going to rule how I want you to, because I'm sitting right here and everyone's going to watch me sitting here and you do it. The court did not like that. They felt very challenged. And I'm not going to read you the questions. Almost every judge, when they asked Donnie's representative in the court, Mr. Sauer or something, total scumbag, by the way. My God. They were getting him caught in legal traps every single question, and he always ended up looking stupid. So the judges were not liking the arguments being made by the government, and they were especially not liking Donnie sitting there trying to make a statement. Stepping on their robes right in front of everybody in the room, son. This how sick this fuck is. They did not like it. Donnie saw about halfway through the oral, whatever it was, that he wasn't going to win. He could tell how it was going to go. So he left, and he put a tweet out all pissed off. What did we witness, though? We witnessed a man that will lock those fuckers up at some point, getting closer to that step. I told you a long time ago, the Reich will get tired of all the rulings and shit. They don't have time for it. They have an agenda and they will implement it. And if these judges continue to get in the way, he coming for them. Even the Supreme Court ones. They best be real careful. I'm not telling him to do everything he wants. I don't want that either. I don't know what the right answer is. They built this Frankenstein. I don't know how they get away from it without one of them going to prison. He is disgusted with them. And I knew he would be. If he talked about that ruling almost every day with tariffs. This is why we need tariffs. The Supreme Court really needs to rule for tariffs. They took it away. He mad as fuck. That's why he showed up today. What's the next step, class? Locking one day ass up. That's the next step. They best be real careful. Because Donnie is not playing. I'm going to smoke a cigarette and I'll be right back. God, these Rice Krispie treats look good. Maybe I'll eat like 9 of them right on camera. Okay. So Donnie shows up at the Supreme Court for the big birthright citizenship. You know what that's the road is too, right? This birthright citizenship thing. It's the road to taking citizenship away from anyone. They feel like that's the end goal. Again, like if Stephen Colbert says something he doesn't like, he wants the right to strip him of his citizenship and send him to fucking Eswatini. I'm not kidding. I'm more tired than I thought I was. My mouth is having trouble even forming words. Trump is sitting in the front row at the Supreme Court as justices hear arguments on his unconstitutional order to end birthright citizenship. He's the first sitting president ever to attend oral arguments. Feels like this stunt could backfire. It did. The judges were being very harsh with Donnie's representative. One of the comments was, you're citing Roman law in one of your arguments? Really? That's what you're doing? I'm paraphrasing, but that's what the judge was saying. You're citing Roman law. What did I say we were? New Rome. So it makes sense the Reich would cite Roman law as some type of precedent. For taking citizenship away from people. Weren't like all of Donnie's wives foreign, not citizens when they got here right away? All had anchor babies, every single one. I think only one of his children wasn't an anchor baby. The foreign wife became a citizen by that point. I think it might be Tiffany or something. I can't remember. So what this is, I want you to understand this. It's a big deal, and he's been crossing his fingers, hoping, him and Stephen Miller, hoping they get this for a while. Because what they'll use it for, I'm telling you right now, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. What they will use it for is to take citizenship against anyone. Away from anyone, excuse me, I'm so fucking tired. Away from anyone. I'm telling you, son, this is how cruel and evil this fucker is. If he had his way, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, they say something on late night TV, he don't care who you are. That he don't like. He wishes he could grab you with his mask Gestapo, put you on a flight to Eswatini, and you die. You go from rich TV night host to dead in Eswatini in horrid fashion. That is the Antichrist. That is Donnie Shitbags. That is his desire. And it's obvious that's Stephen Miller's desire. They want to terrorize all of us with that. Last year, a few months in, Donnie is standing in the Oval Office with a mobster called Bukele, making jokes again, right, Rubes? Always jokes. Every vile abomination he spouts. Next up is the homegrowns, ha ha ha, big joke. Sending U.S. citizens, I don't care if they're in prison, ex-cons, anyone, out this country. No president has the right to do that. That's what he was fucking talking about. What is that the road to? Morons out there. Taking convicts in prisons that are U.S. citizens and shipping them to CCOT. Just because he wants to. What is that the road to, and what intention? Taking it away from you. Taking it away from anyone. Everything they're doing. When he crosses his fingers for 10 months waiting for this outcome, he shows up at the court. There is utter agenda behind that. This means everything to him and Stephen Miller. They need a road to take citizenship away. They already got the Antifa thing. Anyone they call Antifa is now a terrorist. They can do anything they fucking want to you, thanks to George Bush fucking cunt Jr. That's why they designated a terror group that does not exist as a terror group. So they can call you Antifa if they fucking feel like it. Now you're a terrorist. Now you have no fucking rights. Literally, I'm not kidding. So the court fight, the birthright citizenship fight, is another path for Stevie the Ghoul and Donnie the Cunt Antichrist to take citizenship against anyone they feel like. The next hop from birthright being meaningless is straight citizenship being meaningless. You know, like the next hop from taking cons that are in prison that are citizens and shipping them anywhere you fucking feel like. 'Cause you're of the fucking devil. The next hop from that, son, is you. The citizen out on the street that was born here, whose parents were born here. That is the road they've been trying to pave and make happen, him and Stevie the Ghoul. So that's what this Supreme Court fight is about. That's why Donnie showed the fuck up. That's how much it matters to him. That's how serious he is about it. He needs a path to take citizenship away from anyone. Again, what, 2 months in, 3, 4, I don't even know. Probably earlier than 4 months in to this term. Again, he's cracking jokes with a cunt that's running a concentration camp that he never lets people out of, who got paid with your money. He's joking about sending U.S. citizens to Sika in front of the cameras. He shows up at the court for the birthright citizenship decision. These are pathways to take your citizenship away. The Antifa terrorism designation is a third pathway to take your citizenship away. That's the goal of all of it. That's what Donnie and the Ghoul want to do to a lot of us, including a lot of you famous people, like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert. I am not kidding in the fucking slightest, and you know it, son. Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, same thing. They want to do that to you. Donnie wants the right, and I've been trying to tell you people for years. To ship you to Eswa fucking teeny. 1 minute you're Hillary Clinton with all this clout and money and a nice cushy life. The next you're an Eswa fucking teeny. That's what he wants to do to you people and the rest of us out here who dares critique him. All three roads designating Antifa a terror group. Now any dissident can be called Antifa. Anyone they feel like, now you're a terrorist, automatically, when that group doesn't even exist. That should horrify you. The birthright thing, him showing up and wanting that so bad. You know what they want to use that for. It even got so bad, one of the judges said, would a Native American fall under your definition of birthright? The guy couldn't answer. He said, I need to think about it. You know why? You know what he was thinking when the judge asked him that? Will it be okay with Donnie to say Native Americans are citizens here and they should be here? Will I piss off dear leader if I say they're citizens, they should be here? They have citizenship. You know, since they were here before we fucking got here, he couldn't even say that out loud. That's how gone, that's how lost you people are. That's how dead evil this movement is at the top with Sauer and fucking Donnie shitbags. Because Sauer knows what's up. He knows it's a white thing, and that's all they looking for. They ain't looking for Native Americans to be here. A lot of them been rounded up too. No ICE agent should dare ever touch a Native American. They were here before we got here. And they've been touched. All three of those passed. Again, I'm going to repeat it one more time because it's that fucking serious and that dire. And I've known what he wanted to do to you a long time ago. Again, why I've been yelling for 10 years. Why I'm here night after fucking night saying this shit. Because it is dire, son. And the Supreme Court, they could have just gavelled in agreement with him and he gets the birthright thing that him and Stevie are looking for. Another 100 miles closer to being able to take anyone's citizenship away and deport them anywhere they fucking feel like. A great example, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. An example of intent, Your Honor. Abrego says, send me to Costa Rica. He's been saying it for fucking months. You racist cunts want to get rid of him. He says, okay, I get it. I get the message. Send me to Costa Rica. You get rid of me. What you want, right? No, that's not what we want. We want terror. We want you to die. We want to send you to Eswatini or Congo, where they will kill you. That's the intent. And if he wants that, let me say this real close to the camera. If he wants that for Abrego, he wants that for all of you. And again, that includes Jimmy Kimmel, Colbert, all the late night comedians he hates, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, me, because I talk shit. Shit, he asked Google for, all of our information. All the people that talk shit. I'm sure Google handed mine right over. I'm sure they'd love to see me die at the hands of the Reich. Guarantee it. That's why they handed it over. So again, class, they showed us what they want to do to Abrego. The point isn't just to remove you. The point is to terrify you, ruin your life, and have you die in some third world shithole where they hate you. So again, if that's the point for Abrego, then that's the point for you, son. If they decide to go that route with you, if they deem you a problem. That's what they want again for Hillary, Bill, Barack. Anyone black, anyone Spanish, any liberal, anyone in the way, and anyone racially they don't like. Anyone that talks shit. Did Hitler tolerate dissent, shit talking, critique? No, you got executed. Or you got shipped to one of the foreign camps, because Hitler had plenty of those, son. Just like Donnie. The Abrego Garcia case proves everything I just fucking said. The intent is to take anyone's citizenship away. They want to. All three roads are for that purpose. The Antifa is a terror group road, a group that doesn't exist. Showing up for the birthright citizenship, that decision, another road to taking anyone's citizenship away. Another road, again, back in the first term. Oh, well, if you're in jail, you're a criminal, so we can just send you to CCOT even though you're a citizen. The homegrowns, that's what Donnie was talking about. that road also is the road to you. You don't get the level of evil we're dealing with. I always did. You should by now, though. Think of a Brago when you wonder if they want to do it to you. The answer is yes. Iran's foreign ministry responds after Trump claims they asked for a ceasefire today. President Trump's claims that Iran requested a ceasefire are false and baseless, so no negotiation. Nothing's been happening. Absolutely nothing this entire time. We've heard Donnie say this is almost over. There's a ceasefire. They're begging. They're calling. We're talking. We've heard this, I don't know, 20 times. All to manipulate the market again. And every day Iran says, we don't know what the fuck he's talking about. We got missiles to shoot, motherfucker. We're busy. And we got oil boats to blow up and data centers and all that good stuff. And they hitting that shit too. They hitting Israel too. Getting worse every day. A convicted felon is sitting in the front row of the Supreme Court to try and intimidate justices to rule in his favor on a blatantly unconstitutional executive order. Yes, Donnie's a convicted felon, adjudicated fraud, rapist, defamer. And we all know he's a pedophile, of course. And he's the one sitting in front of the Supreme Court trying to intimidate them into a ruling he likes. Amazing, isn't it? They created that Frankenstein. And I've been telling you guys for a while, you in the robes, that he's going to come for you. Even though you're in the robes and you think you're untouchable. He didn't show up to the court for nothing and you embarrassed him. He's not going to forget that. Does Donnie seem like a forgiving guy? No, he'll hold a grudge for 1,000,000 years, son. For the smallest slight. And you taking his favorite toys away and you made a fool of him today. That's after you took the tariff grift away. That's how I know he's definitely locking at least one of you up. At some point. He is livid about that. But they built the Frankenstein. Now he's showing up in their courtroom. Unannounced. It's honestly wild that Donald Trump thought showing up in a courtroom would somehow intimidate a Supreme Court justice like they haven't already dealt with convicted felons before, right? Exactly. The audacity. But again, they made this Frankenstein. This is Mary Trump, his niece. It turns out that sitting in the Supreme Court with his arms folded and a pout on his face may not have been the genius move Donald thought it was, right? But Donnie ain't gonna forget. And Donnie got the guys with guns. The Supreme Court doesn't. Never forget that. How did Hitler handle rulings he didn't like? I assume the judges ended up in a camp right quick. Meanwhile, here in Idaho, the Idaho Department of Correction says the facility is currently under construction with an estimated cost of about $911,000. Firing squad will become the primary method of execution starting July 1st. Appallingly barbaric. Now, as I pondered the antichrist over the decades, I thought of complete evil and a society going backwards into barbarism, into something we didn't see in the modern world anymore. Public executions, formal ones, worse than the ones we saw. We will get there. This is, I think, what the room looks like. I don't know where they got this picture from. This looks pretty simple. I don't know why it would cost 911,000. Oh yeah, I do kickbacks and pocketing that shit. That's why it would cost that. Looks like it costs about 50 bucks. If that's what they're going to use, I don't know. This is the picture they put with it. This is a reverend. So if we're going back to firing squad and stuff like that, if we're going back to shooting people in the face, if we're going back to shooting people in the back if they dare stand up to the mass immune police force, if we're going to having UFC fights on the front lawn of the White House, that being glorified, no problem with professional fighting. I've watched it a lot over the years and enjoyed it. But it doesn't have any place on the front lawn of the White House. That's the difference. It's a mindset of like gladiator times. The same as firing squad and stuff like that being brought back. I guess what I'm trying to say is exactly what I pondered, what I thought the way it would be. That's exactly what's happening. There's this regression towards that medieval mindset where it's okay to execute people live on camera in the street in front of all of us. It's exactly what I thought it would be. Again, why I've been yelling for 10 years. I knew the potential of the evil, how far it would go. People in camps, and I'm not talking illegal immigrants, and that ain't right either. People being executed publicly, beheadings, formal executions, unjust ones, of course. I knew there'd be warmongering, World War III. I knew there would be suffering, innumerate. I knew it was the devil. So when Dunny left the courtroom, he posted this once he saw he wasn't getting his way. We are the only country in the world stupid enough to allow birthright citizenship. President Donald J. Trump, that's all he wrote. Birthright is in quotes. Stupid is in all caps. That's after the president, in quotes, was in the courtroom of the Supreme Court trying to force a ruling via his presence. He throws a tantrum once he sees he's not getting what he wants. He's still thinking about his tariff grift getting taken away, and he is fucking livid about that. His favorite word is tariff. It's his favorite thing on earth. This is utterly embarrassing, preposterous, ridiculous. The man showed up at the Supreme Court. He announced it the night before. I'm going to show up. Uh-oh. Eventually, people will say, uh-oh, because he'll send men with guns to come lock them in the gulag or execute them. That's where it's going. He actually thought he was going to intimidate them because he didn't get his tariff ruling. He thought he's going to intimidate them into giving him the we can take people's citizenship away ruling. Throws a tantrum, leaves in the middle of it because he sees he's not getting what he wants. Sad our country has to go out like this. In an interview with Reuters, Trump says, will express my disgust with NATO in his speech, says he is absolutely considering withdrawing U.S. from NATO. He was always going to do that. This was earlier today. I'm not even going to talk about a speech that he gave at night. He really didn't say nothing new, and it wasn't that great, and I never intended to talk about it anyway. I was going to wait till tomorrow or something if he said some crazy shit. Like, we're leaving NATO right now. No, he didn't say that. He's not ready to yet. He will, though. The intention was always to betray Ukraine for Vlad. Donnie's been helping the least amount possible. You saw the theater with him and the couch fucker with Zelensky early in this term. And he's always planned on pulling out of NATO and aligning with Vlad. We're seeing that more and more. Iran's a great excuse. He's taken sanctions off of Vlad's oil. He lets Vlad's oil even into Cuba, which tells me this was all part of the plan. Moving closer to Vlad in public, but he doesn't want to seem like a Russian asset, which we all know he is. So he uses Iran as cover to do all this. Oh, the strait's closed. We gotta loosen sanctions on Daddy Vlad. We have to. Oh, we gotta let that boat into Cuba, even though we've been blocking all the Venezuelan oil that's right there for Cuba that they've been buying for years. So damn obvious, man. He always planned on leaving NATO and leaving Europe and fucking you people over. I'm surprised you haven't learned that lesson. You don't understand that by now, a lot of you. Canada, he always planned on fucking you over and taking your territory. And you know he can with his military. Keeping it's a whole nother game. But you people aren't armed like America's armed, so that could be a problem. He always planned on aligning with Vlad. They call him Donnie Krasnov. For a reason, they named him Krasnov. He is their bitch. He rolled out the red carpet for Vlad. I could cite a million ways he's shown you. On Alaskan soil, he rolls the red carpet for the whole world to see out for Vlad Putin. There's a reason that happened. Vlad was showing you something. That's my bitch. When they leaked the Krasnov stuff, right when he won, right around that time, that was to let you know I won. That's my bitch. And we've been calling him Krasnov since '87. We've owned this motherfucker. So Donnie let us know in advance that his speech would be like kind of about leaving NATO and all that. Look, he was going to do all this. Don't think he's just doing it over Iran. And he was always going to betray Ukraine. You better get ready for that too. No matter if an Iran war happened or not, he'd still leave NATO and he'd still fuck Ukraine over. Grandpa's first post after leaving the oral arguments, FYI, about 30 countries have birthright citizenship. Right. Another lie. We're the only country that does mail-in voting. That's not true either. All lies all the time, utterly of the devil, the father of lies. UK PM Keir Starmer slammed Trump. Donald Trump has plunged the Middle East into chaos. We will stand by ethics no matter the pressure. Spain started the trend. Canada joined, now the UK. Italy, France, and Spain, I believe, all said you can't, fly over our territory or anything to bomb Iran. Donnie's real pissed about that. He mentioned France, he mentioned Spain. I don't know if he mentioned Italy yet. Now the UK saying we're not going to join the war, but the UK still letting Donnie and the Reich fly over and use their territory as a jump-off point. So he's not where France and Italy and Spain are. But he is assuring his people, yeah, I'm not going to throw us in this war. No, that's not going to happen. He's at least giving you that. Mr. Starmer, you really need to wake up. I don't know if you're a Nazi. You kind of look like one, but I'm hoping you're not. You need to wake up and get Thale and Palantir out of your country. Get your money back from Thale or stop paying him. You are going to go down because of them. It's not going to go well. I got to move. Let's go to another spot quickly. My reverse camera's covered. It's amazing the activity in an empty parking lot at 1 in the morning. Guys with leaf blowers, and some car pulls up. Again, this parking lot's the size of a city. Just right near me. I don't know why. Whole parking lot, son. Could be all by yourself. And you know, I'm doing a video here. I'm purposely trying to be away from other people, officers. So kindly fuck off. I fucking hate seatbelt alarms. They like really piss me off. Alright, now since that happened, now I'm going to take another break and smoke, and then I'll be right back. With you good people. Discuss the apocalypse. Don't be afraid to. And be disgusted by the apocalypse. Because I was just thinking, I'm disgusted by the apocalypse. So sad it all has to go out. You know, I can't even express my level of disgust with all this. A song called Water Baby by the Sneaker Pimps. Water Baby by the Sneaker Pimps. That shit is insane. I've been listening to the same like 4 or 5 Sneaker Pimp songs over and over again. And I didn't listen to these other ones. And then I realized, oh shit, there's only one album with her on it. It's their only good music. So let me listen to the other ones again. Because I didn't give them a full chance. because I like the other ones so much. So I go back listening to the 3 or 4 that I kind of let slide. I didn't give them a chance. I didn't listen to the whole thing because there's a lot of weird intros and they kind of progress into something else in a lot of the songs. And yet, so what you hear in the beginning isn't necessarily representative of what the song sounds like. I like that. It's interesting. There's a lot of changeovers and crazy shit. So I listened to the 2 or 3 other ones I haven't really listened to that much. And 2 of them are just fucking insane. I wish I knew how to do that digital music and mix it with the instruments like they do. I think that's good. You have some real instruments in there, violins, guitars. I can tell they know how to play. I've seen them play. I've seen videos of them. And then they add the digital shit on top of it, the noises, and they're fucking masters at it. But their shit only sounds incredible when it's combined with her voice. Her voice is like made for it. I don't know. But that song, Water Baby, it progresses. There's about 4 changeovers and it just progresses through the whole. And the last changeover, my God, I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me with that. It's just so insane. The little the blues guitar going, they have it in one speaker. They have it panned into one speaker. I mean panned out to the side. So you kind of only hear it out on one side. It's like away from everything else. It's just fucking insane. Water Baby, Sneaker Pimps. Listen to that shit. Oh my God. Listen to the whole thing, the whole song. So, Keir Starmer, I wish you would throw Thale out. Don't go along with Donnie with the surveillance thing. You're pushing it hard. Your country's pushing it hard. American companies and our country's pushing it hard. They are at the point where they're about to do, because they know everyone's going to stop using the internet. They are at the point where to even go on the internet or to install an operating system, you're going to have to show an ID. That's where they want to take it so no one can get around it. We all need the internet for something. Getting a job, whatever. We all need it for something. Even if we say, fuck it, we're not going on social media, we're not being part of any of this anymore, because that's what I was about to do. I was about to close all my Google emails, never use them again, use a different search engine. Once it goes full, we want everything, or you can't use our site. I want to start moving away from all these companies because they're utterly part of the surveillance thing. But they're going to make it to where if you want to go online at all, that's eventually where they're taking us. And even if you want to install Windows in your fucking laptop, ID. So no way to get around it. That's where they're going with it, and they will get there. I wish Mr. Starmer wasn't going along with that. You seem to be waking up and understanding, okay, we can't go along militarily. He's going to betray us. We can't trust him. He fucks us over all the time. You're realizing that. Guess what goes along with that? Peter Thale, the Nazi Reich, Palantir, the surveillance state will be the ruin of you as well. I wish you would pull away from that. I wish France would. I wish Spain would. I wish Italy would. Because as you're going along with that, Donnie will own all of it. It's all in service of him and the devil. That's what it's for. So you can't not go along with them here, but go along with them there. Then you're still going along with them. You're still on the path to fucking destruction. And you're taking your people with you. Europe, Canada, all of you are learning the hard way. You need to separate and not be part of it at all. That means get the money back from Thale or stop paying him. Canada, France, Italy, Spain, UK. Get the surveillance state out. I know your MI6 wants it. I know the CIA wants it here. They've been wanting it forever. But those type people think a certain way. They want to spy on everybody. They want to know everything. I don't like that. They wouldn't like someone spying on them, I'm sure. In fact, I know they wouldn't. Yet this is some type of utopian dream for these people. Mass surveillance, everything logged, except for them, of course. They'll be exempt and be able to get around it all for covert purposes. Because they're the CIA, or the FBI, or the police, or the president, or his cabinet, or Peter Thiel, or Leon Scum. These rules are for us. They're not for them. These flock cameras are for us. They're not for them. The doorbell cameras are for us, not for them. They won't be surveilled. We will. They won't be grabbed and locked up. We will. They're all exempt. Yet they love the idea of the surveillance state. They're making it happen. They are the surveillance state. Yet they're exempt, so they must not think it's such a great idea. They don't want it done to them, but they want to do it to us. So, Mr. Starmer, Italy, France, Spain, Canada, I wish you'd totally pull away, get Thiel and Leon out your shit. All they doing is betraying you. They setting you all up. They all in league with Vlad. Vlad is your enemy. Too late for America. We're done. You people have a chance to put up a real fight. You got to get rid of Leon and Thiel. I'm talking all his businesses, all security clearances gone, all contracts gone. And if they step foot in your nations, they get arrested. That's what you need to do. I wish you would do that, Mr. Starmer, but you won't. You'll half walk with them all the way to the abyss. I know. I know. This is hilarious, whoever made it. I love it. I think it's amazing. KFC, Skeletor, getting a little chunky. This is from the Jerusalem Post. The U.S. will be out of Iran pretty quickly and could return for spot hits if needed, President Trump told Reuters on Wednesday, hours before he was scheduled to make a primetime address. So Donnie's setting the stage to leave, or he's talking shit so the Iranians don't think they're about to be invaded. But Donnie been saying pretty much we're just going to leave and let everyone else handle it. That's what he's saying again. Because he can't win. You send boots on the ground, they die. Not all of them, but you're going to take heavy casualties. That's no good. Can't open the strait any other way. Can bomb them every day for 100 years. That strait will still be closed. Will still be hitting boats. Navy too scared to go in. I don't blame them. They'll get sunk. Nothing he can do. He can't win. He already lost. And he knows it. That's why he want to take his toys, go home, let Britain clean up the mess. Amazing. And manipulate the stock market too as well. Half of U.S. data centers planned for 2026 are expected to be delayed or canceled. One big reason is shortage of electrical equipment such as transformers, switchgear, and batteries. U.S. doesn't have manufacturing capacity, forcing it to rely on imports. And then there's that helium problem. I didn't know that was necessary in AI and things like that as well. It's necessary for components. That's interesting that these data centers are being delayed or canceled. I'm glad to hear that, but the supply will get turned back on at some point, I assume. And they've already built so many. I'm hearing another great side effect of data centers is they produce such a large amount of heat They actually change the local environment. They give off so much heat. They create their own kind of mini environment that spreads around whatever's close. Not to mention they're using millions of gallons of water, stealing your water. Using so much power, your bill goes up another 100, 800 a month. Sharing the load with you. Pollution, that too. Everyone's complaining about that. The noise pollution, some towns are complaining about that. There is no benefit to data centers. They're only here for subjugation. And it sounds like they're going to have trouble building them and a lot of computer and electrical equipment until this strait gets opened. Okay, Donnie said the rocket's going to go beyond the stars. Economically, militarily, and now beyond the stars. Nobody comes close. He's talking about the rocket launch today. Here's the problem I have with the rocket launches. The two major ones, today and when they landed on the moon. Nixon was president when they landed on the moon, and we were in an arms race and a space race to demonstrate the world to the world who was the dominant empire. The Russians got a satellite, I believe, called Sputnik up first, so they beat us to that. So we had to beat them to go into the moon. So there was a lot politically riding on it. And Richard Nixon, in my opinion, was one of the most crooked scoundrels ever fucking born. And then came Donnie Shitbags, who's even worse. Which I didn't think was possible. Nixon was a downright scumbag. And criminal. And liar. So when people say the moon landing was fake, I don't know if it was fake or not. Look, I'm open to hear both sides of the story. Why? For this reason alone, let alone all the other, arguments that have been made. I've watched documentaries. I've listened to people's arguments. I just don't know. I don't know. I do know this. The motivation for faking it would be strong. To demonstrate dominance over Russia, to beat them to the punch, even if America had to fake it. And then we have the person presiding over it at the time is Richard fucking Nixon, who would gladly fake it. And take the win. And the credit. Fast forward to Donnie, even more crooked than Nixon's son. All of a sudden, NASA like, yeah, we're going to go to the moon. Not land on it, but they're going to go around it. We've never done this. Since the 60s, man. That's strange in itself right there that they never went back after those missions. With more modern equipment. Very strange. I always wondered about that. Doesn't make logical sense. Or to build some structure there, it just doesn't make logical sense that they didn't do that. I wonder what the reason is. It lends credence to maybe it never happened at all. Maybe that's why they never went back. I don't know. All I know, again, is now we have someone even more crooked than Nixon who presided over this launch that's going around the moon. That's something we haven't done since Nixon. Makes me real skeptical. It feels like history's repeating itself. And either both times it was real or both times it was fake. Because they're both the same crooked ass motherfucker, except Donnie's worse. And Donnie would sure love that political win too, to boast, look at us sending a rocket around the moon. And it's not Leon doing it. Why isn't Leon doing it? Why is NASA all of a sudden good enough now? So I don't know what to believe, because the two biggest events regarding space and the moon happened under Nixon and Donnie. So I don't know what to believe just for that alone. And someone underlined the beyond the stars part. No, we didn't go beyond the stars. Because they're really far away. And we can't do that yet. Unless we send a satellite out for 1,000,000 years. It eventually gets there. Okay, this is amazing. And I know you people didn't expect this. I know. You ready? He said this out loud. He was at he had an Easter event at the White House. And it looked like that. I couldn't believe he said this out, but I always knew he would, son. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We're fighting wars. It's not possible for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, Medicare, all these things. There's some sentences missing in there, but it doesn't matter. He said what he meant to say. He talked about we really need the money for, the war machine. He didn't use the phrase war machine, but that's what he was saying. Donnie and Pete want to use the money for what they want to use it for. Fuck this daycare, fuck this Medicaid, fuck this Medicare. Now, the right-wing grift machine, since, again, 1945, whenever these programs started, but since the right-wing grift machine has been a thing and these programs have existed, they've wanted to get rid of them. Why? They're social programs. They could take that money and give it to the rich and themselves. That's why. So this ain't a new idea, but Donnie going to do it. Why? Because he's the antichrist. And do you think Donnie can sit there knowing that Medicaid, Medicare money, daycare money is there, and it's a massive amount of money, and he can't pocket it? It drives him nuts. That he could be pocketing that instead of you getting Medicare or Medicaid. And I know all you geriatrics out there, and a lot of you voted for this, you thought he wasn't going to take your Medicare money, your Medicaid money. You really thought that. I always knew he would. You were wrong. I told you America's being dismantled and looted. He'll wait till last to take that shit away from old people. He'll fuck you over last because you're his voting base. But he will fuck you over, and he has. And you all thought, I know. Even though they talked about it every year, Mitch McConnell and the boys, every single year, there's always these headlines, these discussions. We need to get rid of Medicare and Medicaid and all these social programs. Why, Mitch? They cost too much. What he really means is we want to take that money. One more time. I know all you geriatrics. Most of you voted for this. You've been doing it for a long time. And even though your party, your movement has talked about getting rid of all your programs, every single year, every campaign, we're going to reform. The right-wing grift machine says Social Security, Medicaid, all of it, Medicare. That means get closer to eliminating it, taking people off of it because of fraud. Now Donnie's straight up saying, you know what? We just can't afford this. We need the money for the war machine, for the military. He even said it. We're fighting wars. That's what Donnie wants to use the money. He went on to talk about that more. He made the point again. We need it for the military, as if we don't give the military enough. Over $1 trillion this time, and he wants 200 billion more to pocket. Now it's, again, little children, as old as you folks are, on these programs, and you vote for the party that says they want to get rid of them every fucking year. And then the antichrist comes along. He liquidating the entire country, firing everybody, pocketing them salaries, just dipping his hand in the treasury for the board of peace, 1.2. Free for all. This is Donnie's dream come true, and you rubes are the purest marks he's ever seen. You thought he wasn't going to take your Medicare, your Medicaid. He will. You were wrong. Dead fucking wrong. Now he's saying it out loud, and he's not mentioning fraud. That facade's has been, lifted. We just don't want to pay for it. We want the states to pay for it. He knows the states can't afford these programs without federal money. Yet he wants to keep the federal money. Why, class? Because Donnie sees all federal money as his. And the tariff grift was his personal bank account. And then he extended it out to everything else. The Treasury, Medicare, Social Security. That's another one. You geriatrics thought you wasn't going to lose it, right? You think, Donnie, you don't see that Social Security money sitting there? Oh, you don't even know, son. Again, why the crazy man in sunglasses has been yelling for 10 years? Because he cared about you more than you do. Social Security, another one. Your right-wing grift machine. Since I've been born, we need to reform Social Security. We need to get rid of that. Mitch, Donnie, all of them in your machine. They cannot stand the idea of all that money benefiting us. They want to steal it. They want to give it to their friends. Donnie's saying out loud, and he ain't mentioning fraud. He's just saying, I don't want to pay for it. I want the states to pay for it. It's my money. Just like I told you. He's proven how he looks at that money. He's saying out loud, we can't pay for Medicaid, Medicare, daycare. The state should pay for it. What's Donnie trying to tell you, geriatric class? He want to take your Medicaid money, your Medicare money, your Social Security money. But you didn't care. You heard your machine say this day after day. They want to get rid of the programs that you're all on, the people that vote for cunts like Donnie Shitbags and Mitch McConnell. You hear them say this and you just ignore it, even though your survival depends on these programs. And then the man that's really going to take it away comes along. And you vote for him too. Because you got to vote or, right? Right, Satan? That's what you're going to get. You voted Satan, son? You going to get Satan. You got Satan. He's saying it out loud. And he forgot to even throw the word fraud in there. Make it, make that lie part of the story. As they loot and dismantle you. Straight up. Now we say it out loud. We can't pay for daycare. We can't pay for Medicare, Medicaid. You got Oz out there, Dr. Mengele Oz, talking about how much you're costing them because you retire at 65, you don't start work early enough, young enough. You haven't gotten the message yet. They want to steal all that money. Those are all arguments for that end. You don't get that yet. You will, son. Don't worry. When they take it away. Don't worry. I know you thought you were exempt because you're geriatric Republican. You always vote this way. You always do that. You're not exempt. He will steal your shit. 100% guaranteed. Again, you wanted Satan. You voted Satan. You got Satan. You're going to see what Satan does, too. Tonight I'm making a little speech at 9 o'clock, and basically I'm going to tell everybody how great I am. Yes, he said that out loud. Right here at the podium. Yes, the dementia-ridden antichrist, who always honors himself 24 hours a day, said that out loud. Son. Tonight I'm making a little speech at 9 o'clock, and basically I'm going to tell everybody how great I am. You want more context? Let's add another sentence to that. Tonight I'm making a little speech at 9 o'clock, and basically I'm going, tell everybody how great I am. What a phenomenal job I've done. Makes it even worse, right, son? Right. Context on Donnie Shitbags always makes it worse. Then there's the broader context. For 10 years, watching him make jokes that turn into not jokes no more. Turn into real. Every time, all day. And that one where he makes jokes about him being the chosen one. Being the king. Which I haven't gotten to yet. Comparing himself to Christ, saying he's God. That's what all those jokes are leading to, are in service of. So Donnie literally said before the speech at this gathering, yeah, I'm going to make a speech to say how great I am. And what a phenomenal job I've done. Yeah, we know, Donnie, that's what you always say. Every speech. Yet everything's burning around us. Inversion. Trump muses about being a king. I can't get a ballroom approved. It's pretty amazing, right? If I was a king, we'd be doing a lot more. I'm doing a lot, but I could be doing a lot more if I was king. We know, Donnie, and we know that's what you want to be. Literally. This is what he said right after the Jesus comment. The Jesus comment led right into this. They call me a king, but I can't even get a ballroom built. He said some things before that. He said, no kings. He used the protests. The title of the protest, No Kings, as if it were people calling him a king, when in fact it's quite the opposite. And here's the Jesus comment. My jaw dropped when I read this. And then I listened to it to make sure he said it. Because I couldn't believe it. And I know why he said it. I know this ain't a dementia-ridden old man. And no, this ain't about protesters calling him a king. He said this for a reason. It was intentional. It wasn't a joke. He knows exactly what he's doing. On Palm Sunday, and this is an Easter gathering at the White House, by the way. On Palm Sunday, Jesus entered Jerusalem as the crowds welcomed him with praise, honoring him as a king. They call me king now. Can you believe it? And then he went on to talk about no kings, no kings. And then he went to this comment. But I can't get a ballroom approved. It's pretty amazing, right? If I was a king, we'd be doing a lot more. We know, Donnie, we know what you want to do, and we know you want to be king so you can do these things. We know you want to be King Hitler. We know. But this is what Donnie's saying here. Whether it was just accidental, which I don't think it was, but I could be wrong. Or he meant to do it. That this is another sly, devilish way of accomplishing a goal. The opener to the end goal of taking the crown from Christ and trying to force you to agree with that concept that he is God or Christ or some kind of savior. That's where all this goes. He literally, the next sentence after they welcome Jesus as a king, they call me king now. Directly after Jesus was the king, now I'm the king. I don't personally think that was accidental. I've noticed little things like I'm the chosen one are jokes. I noticed this led into a joke. And no, Donnie's got that quite backwards. No one thinks he's a king. No one calls him a king. What the no kings thing is about is we don't tolerate kings here, and you ain't no king, motherfucker. That's what the crowd is saying. Yet Donnie changes it into, I'm king just like Jesus. That's what people say. I'm on that level where they consider me on the level of a king when I can't even get my ballroom built. I don't know. I think this was intentional, like the goat, like him saying I'm the chosen one. And I think this was put in a very kind of sly way because he can't just say it outright right now. Eventually, it'll no longer be a joke that Jesus was king and now I'm king. It will transition into being real. He'll want you to take it as real or die. That's where all this is going. And I have a feeling that was put in there on purpose. Especially once I saw something else that happened. Here are the religious representatives. I can't even remember their names. Is it White or something? Is her name, last name? They are standing there and they are saying this by Donnie, which I will read to you. You were betrayed and arrested and falsely accused. It's a familiar pattern that our Lord and Savior showed us. You will be victorious in all you put your hand to because God is using you. You're right, Miss Satanist, who pretends to be a Christian or thinks you're a Christian. God is using him, but not in the way you think. God is using him to separate the wheat from the chaff. I guess he's kind of like the final test, and a very difficult one. For it will cost you for going against him. And I think we all know that. And the penalties will get harsher as time goes by, and those penalties will be accepted by the masses. Kind of like Donnie's been accepted by so many people in the church, like these two standing next to him. They dare compare, son. Do you hear me, son? Are you listening? Son, they just compared the Antichrist to Jesus Christ. Do you hear? And that's after Donnie said, well, Jesus was king and they call me king now. And that was said on purpose. I know it. I know it. I know what you're doing, Donnie. You don't fool me, son. I know that wasn't a joke. Especially when the comparison to Christ is made again by the religious leaders or Christian leaders that are there. They literally compared him to Christ's son. Christ was betrayed wrongly. Christ was arrested wrongly, accused falsely, executed unjustly, for he was not a criminal whatsoever. Donnie is an adjudicated fraud, rapist, an adjudicated liar, defamer. Donnie's wife mysteriously fell down the stairs right before her deposition. Donnie's best friend died in a prison cell under his watch, where the cameras magically stopped working. There's minutes missing from the footage they did release. What a joke that is. Donnie's a pedophile. Donnie is all vile things all the time, not one redeeming quality, son. He is ultimate evil a man can be that isn't the devil. He is the literal, prophesied antichrist, opposite of Christ. And we all know it. And these two human beings dared say he was treated the same way Christ was treated. There's a reason that happened, son. That wasn't by mistake. That's also how I know that other little two sentences right next to each other were not a mistake, son. Were not a joke. The joke is the cover. I know this monster. I've watched him operate for a long time, and he's very predictable. And I know the role he's living. And I know what he has to fulfill. I know what has to be said out loud. I know what concepts have to be put forth. He's doing all of it. And a lot of it's under the guise of jokes. So 1 minute, and I don't care where he went with it after, because I know why he's saying it. On Palm Sunday, Jesus entered Jerusalem as crowds welcomed him with praise, honoring him as a king. They call me king now. Can you believe it? No kings, no kings. But I can't even get a ballroom built. Cover. That's all that is. That's how he does things. That's how he operates. You can't say I worship the devil. You can't say I'm Jesus. You can't say I'm king now, straight up. You can't say I replace Christ, straight up, yet. You can't say I'm the chosen one, straight up, yet. You can't say I'm king, straight up, yet. He will say all those things, though. Then right after he does that, we get these two. He was betrayed like Jesus. No, Jesus was innocent. There's a difference. Jesus was wrongly accused, wrongly incarcerated, wrongly executed, wrongly everything. Because he was Jesus, the perfect one, the sinless one, the Savior. He had to be better than everyone. He had to be perfect. Otherwise not worthy of a sacrifice or as a sacrifice. And he was, according to the story. Then comes the antithesis to everything Jesus stood for, and I mean everything. And they dare compare him to Christ in front of all of us. A pedophile, son, unknown one. The antichrist. Inversion. This is the exact shit I would expect to take place in the reign of the antichrist. Christian leaders, alleged ones, comparing the literal antithesis of Christ, the prophesied antichrist, to Christ. Little children, Donnie and the religious crew here, you do not know what you are fucking with. Daring to try and take the crown of Christ and put it on Donnie's head. Holy fuck. You don't know what you fucking with. I get the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. What else? Oh, his best friend BB just bombed the tomb of Peter the Apostle of Christ. The literal Peter that walked next to the man. Again, they don't know what they fucking with. I would not want that on my resume, son. I wouldn't want on my resume either that Jesus, was king, and they call me king now. I would not even a slip up. I wouldn't make that mistake, though. It's impossible for me to do it. I really wonder if that part, the I'm king now part, was written down. I bet it was. It looked like it was. It looked like he was reading, I think. That tells me even more it had intent behind it than more than just a joke. Yeah, these things aren't accidents. Him turning around and looking up in the sky and saying, I'm the chosen one, that's not a joke or an accident. It's what he needs to make it for it to be acceptable. When he says I'm king now, or they call me king, that's not a mistake. The goat's not a mistake. Them comparing him to Christ, not a mistake. It's all for a reason. It's done in front of you for a reason. Read your future in a magazine. Anyway, one more time. Religious leaders standing aside the Antichrist, saying, comparing him utterly to Jesus. He's the same thing, right, Rubes? Christ slept with porn stars all the time behind their wife's back right after they had their kid, right? No. The exact opposite. That's what also one of the main messages. I used to yell this all the time. Donnie's first term when I was doing these videos. That you people were equating someone that is the antithesis of Christ with Christianity, with family values, with Jesus, with anything decent. That's what you people were doing, and you're still doing it. And I know you see that. I know you see he's nothing like Jesus. He's nothing family value. I know you see it all. And you don't care. Yet you still consider yourself the patriot, the Christian, the follower of Christ, the good guys. You're not. You never were. Your whole movement is the antithesis of Christ. Are you fucking kidding me? Another message I've been saying for 10 years. It stands for none of the things Christ stood for. The only slight religious thread, and I'm not even sure about that, is abortion. That's it. There ain't a goddamn thing Christian about anything else in the right-wing grift machine, my God. It's pure Satan. But they hook you with the Bible and that pro-life thing. You don't mind lesbians getting shot in the face, though, even though you're pro-life. I know. As long as they're liberals, right? Right. I know. Again, tells me you're not a Christian. You don't actually believe in anything. You like the facade. Your religion, again, like I said the other day, your religion is the right-wing grift machine, not Christianity, not Jesus, because you all took the literal antithesis of Christ to the point that he's the antichrist, the prophesied one, not an antichrist like Adolf Hitler, again, or Attila the fucking Hun, the antichrist. That's how far you've gone. That you would dare equate for a nanosecond the name Donnie Shitbags with Christ ever is a mockery and a joke. Why? Because he's the antithesis of Christ, the Antichrist. That's why. He's the opposite of everything Christ ever stood for, stands for. That's what you people have aligned with. And again, it doesn't matter if you agree with me. Irrelevant, meaningless. This isn't a perspective. This is your fucking reality, son. Whether you like it, acknowledge it, agree, want it to be, it does not matter. That's the road you've been on with this motherfucker. The exact opposite road of Christ. A dangerous road to be on. One that guarantees the abyss once you pass a certain point, called the mark. Then it's over. There are, again, no trade backs after that. That's the road you on, the opposite antithesis of Christ, Antichrist road. You've been on it ever since this fucker came along, and you've been on it as long as you've been part of the right-wing grift machine. The evils you have helped make happen. My God. And Donnie is the maximum expression of your movement again. Adolf Hitler was the maximum expression of your movement in the 30s. Right-wing white nationalism. That's all it's ever been. I suggest getting off the road with the Antichrist, the antithesis of Christ, who you people dare compare to Christ. Or even call a Christian, my God. You know China gets 90% of its oil from the Strait of Hormuz. They should be policing their own strait. We're getting ready to get out of there. Again, Donnie's saying we're going to just leave it to the rest of the world. The mess me and Bibi made. Amazing. And there's actual animosity from Pete Hegseth and Donnie towards all these other countries when they shit their pants. They want everyone else to clean it up. Amazing to watch them do this. Blame everyone else for their fuck up. Because they're the big strategists, the big war guys, right? No, they're fucking idiots who thought they were going to go steamroll this place that's been stockpiling weapons. It's full of mountains and rocky coast, and it's a fortress. And they thought they'd just steamroll it. With Vlad helping them too, they thought they'd steamroll it. They learned in the hard way. And they taken the rest of us with us. That's the problem with all these experiments with you MAGA fucks. We all got to go with you and suffer with you as you stick your own foot up your own ass. You're ruining our shit too. We live here too. That kind of sucks, doesn't it? Trump on talks with Iran. If the Iran deal doesn't happen, I'm blaming J.D. Vance. If it does happen, I'm taking full credit. We know, Donnie. We know. That's what you always do. The same way he's blaming Miss Levitt right now for his image not being good. He does this with all his press secretary. Oh, it must be their fault. People can't just not like me. Maybe the messaging isn't right. How many press secretaries did he have last time? That's probably how many he'll have this time. NATO won't be there if we ever have the big one. You know what I mean by the big one. If we ever have the big one, hopefully we won't. Relationships very good with the big one, better than with NATO. Setting the stage again to do what he always intended to do, leave NATO for Vlad, because Vlad needs NATO going so he can fuck Europe up and do whatever he wants. He will betray you, Europe. He already has. Vlad will probably attack you in the next few years. That's what you've done with aligning with Thale, Leon, Donnie, all of them. I suggest you unalign before Vlad starts the invasion, because that's where all this is going, and you know it. Donnie keeps talking about the big one. He will literally usher it in. You know how I know that? He said it like 4 times in this 3 sentences here, because he intends to do it, son. Who can make war with the beast? Going forth, conquering and to conquer. Well-known lines from scripture. The end part, that is. I never forgot that about the Antichrist. The years I pondered who he was. Again, I figured he'd be an American leader because we were the current empire with the greatest military that's ever walked the face of this earth. And that the devil would want that. The devil got it. The Antichrist got it, just like I thought. So yeah, he's going to start the big one. I mean, this, what we're in right now, could turn into World War III because no one can get anywhere. Israel's back on their heels almost. Lebanon, they killed a bunch of Israeli soldiers. Iran shooting missiles. They're getting more allies by the day, helping them out. They got Vlad helping them out. And I thought about it a few hours ago, actually. I'm like, where's this going? Could it? There's a stalemate. No one can get any progress. Israel's fucking furious. Donnie's furious. And I thought, will they flip out and drop a nuke on these motherfuckers? I hope not. But I wouldn't put it past them. Because they can't win this thing. And they always escalate. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that nuke plant ain't leaking that BB hit 3 times. I hope they don't straight up hit a nuke plant for real. And that one start leaking. I hope they don't just drop a nuke on these motherfuckers. Because they livid and they looking stupid. Pete looks like a fucking idiot right now. Donnie looks like an idiot. BB looks like a fucking idiot. Trump on Somali Americans in Minnesota. They're low IQ. I can generalize, he says, as the president of the United States. I can generalize. In other words, I could be a flat out racist and just say all of this one ethnicity are the same. No, that's not true. There are bad people and good people in all ethnicities, and we all know it. They're not all the same. Racists say they're all the same. Racists say, I can generalize. All that race are the same. Holy fuck, he said that out loud. They're low IQ people. They're bad people. Note that moments later he claims Indianapolis is in Minnesota. Of course he does. What's amazing is Donnie is the baddest person. He's the antichrist. He's a convicted or adjudicated rapist, defamer, and fraud, and a pedophile. And he talking about the Somalians are bad. And then he can generalize and just blanket say a whole race is just, terrible. When someone's nice to me, I love that person. Even if they're bad people, I couldn't care less. I'll fight to the end for them. We know, Donnie. We know who your friends are. If you had friends, what your acquaintances, your legion. Unbelievable a president would say that out loud. I'll make friends with the devil as long as he's nice to me, and he did. Literally. Just like you people say, I'll vote for the devil if it's got an R next to it. As long as it don't have a D next to it, I'm good. That's why your country's over. That's why you're in the apocalypse. That's why the world's over. That's why it's all over, son. That mindset right there. He said this out loud. If you didn't have me, you wouldn't have Israel. Frankly, evangelicals and Christians, I think they like Israel more than Jewish people like Israel. If you want to know the truth. Jesus Christ. This is just so wrong in so many ways, inappropriate in so many ways. And I know you rubes can't figure that out. I would have to explain it to you. Oh my God. I think one of the things he's trying to say is the evangelicals and psycho Christians in this country, the fake ones, they want to usher in the apocalypse and get that third temple built and make Israel, a kingdom again. More than the Israelis do. And the Jews around the world. I think that's what he's trying to say. And he's kind of right, but you still can't say that out loud. And no one's more about the glory of Israel, making it an empire, that temple, than Bibi and his sect of Jews. King Cyrus is the savior sect. The right wing in Israel. So they're all about it. But I think I understand what he's trying to say. The Christians and evangelicals here are just, it's just all they want to see happen. Should a believer in Christ, a Christian, try and usher in the apocalypse? Fuck no. One, that tells me you're not a true Christian if you're trying to make that happen. Two, it tells me, son, little child, you have no concept of the fucking horrors that happen to you and everyone else in the apocalypse. No human being on earth should have ever wanted to try and make the apocalypse happen. Because it is horror unspeakable what we've seen already, my God. And again, imagine you were the one in the camp with no criminal record. All you came here to do is do landscaping and make a little money. Or you had protective status as a Venezuelan or whatever. And the right comes in, takes your protected status away, ships you the fuck out. And these groups didn't all get protected status under Democrats. Various disasters have happened over the years, various different events, and different presidents have given groups of people protected status, and no, they weren't all liberals doing it. So the majority of the people being grabbed and shipped out, especially in the beginning, were groups that had protected status and non-criminals. Why? Because it's about racism and ethnic cleansing, not criminals. And we all know it. I can't believe he said that the Christians and evangelical they like Israel more than the Jews do. He said that out loud. The facade with Donnie's dropping more and more. You're getting to see the real Donnie. He can't help himself. And you haven't even seen all of it yet. It gets so much worse. As time goes by, it will get where more of the facade will drop, like I said. And we're getting closer every day to full Reich. I mean, I feel like we're going to get to the point where he just says the N-word out loud on a regular basis. I know it's killing him not to be able to. And that's the end. I want to go back and just read this one, and then I got to get out of here. I didn't mean for nowhere near for this to be this long. I am just astounded by this, and I don't care about the context. I already know the context, and I know why he said it, and I know why he framed it as a joke. I'm going to read these two, and then I'm going to go and go back to the beginning of the video where I gave the sermon. Did I not tell you who's the Antichrist, that he would want to be God? That people would give him, he would take the crown of Christ. He said things to intimate that before. That's where this all goes again. That's the end goal. Worship of him. Worship of the devil. Thousands of years have led to this. And that's the end goal. And I wonder if that gold statue of Donnie's going to be in the temple or on the Temple Mount. Maybe BB is a false prophet and that's the image. I don't know. But the image is supposed to be able to go forth and have life, so I don't think it can be a statue. On Palm Sunday, this is Donnie Shipax. Jesus entered Jerusalem as crowds welcomed him with praise honoring him as king. They call me king now. Can you believe it? No kings, no kings. I can't even get a ballroom built. If I was a king, I could do this, and that. Sound like a slick way for the devil to have his Antichrist say, Jesus was the old king, I'm the new one. That's what it sounds like to me. Kind of like this. You were betrayed and arrested and falsely accused. It's a familiar pattern that our Lord and Savior showed us. You will be victorious in all you put your hand to because God is using you. Son, alleged Christians of leadership just compared the antichristo to Jesus Christ. That's what I'm talking about. That's what they doing. That's what you've been doing. If you down with this motherfucker for the past 10 years. You've been walking with the devil like these two are. They dare compare the devil's anointed, the Antichrist, even if he wasn't the Antichrist, the most vile thing I've ever seen. They dare compare the opposite of Christ to Christ. That's the devil. That's inversion. That's the Antichrist. That's these fake Christians. There are real ones out there. Oh my God. That's serious. It's being done for a reason. And they know exactly what they're doing. Don't take the mark. Have a wonderful evening.